All right, Julie, we're in front of the police department today in downtown Paso Robles, and we're not necessarily going inside for anything that we did wrong, but you're going to talk briefly about what?
We are talking about wire fraud and fraud in general, because 'tis the season right now.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. And so I know a lot of people out there that have not necessarily owned a home before, don't quite get the risk involved with the big transfers of money from my personal account when I'm buying a house over to the escrow company, right? Mm-hmm. The big down payment that gets wired close to closing. So why is that kind of at risk for a consumer like me to send money from my bank to your institution?
Okay, so over the years, the scammers have changed their way of they do business. So it used to be once upon a time, just kind of backstory it a little bit, the sellers, when we wired their proceeds, were being targeted. So then all the escrow title companies took a stance, come in, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, come in and we're gonna have you notarized. And we want to get you notarized with the bank account your money's going to, and it does not change from that. So we protect the seller on our transfers of money to the seller. Okay. Then the scammers turned around and now they are targeting the buyer's money, the buyer's deposit, the buyer's closing funds. Yes. They hack people's emails. They pretend to be the agent. They pretend to be the escrow company. They pretend to be the lender. They change the email by one letter, symbol. It's totally dirty. And people do it. They wire their money off to the fraudsters.
Okay, so I'm buying a house. I'm in escrow with you guys. It's a week from closing and you say, hey, Mark, wire over your $100,000 down payment money. So I go into whatever bank I bank at, and I bring in the instructions that I got from the email, right? Mm-hmm. And that information could potentially be inaccurate and go to some fraudster who's going to take off to Morocco or whatever country. Yeah,
so the encrypted emails that go out in the original packet are the secure emails.
Yep.
But people, again, get used to emailing, doing business via email. Yep. And the best thing to do if you're wiring any money is call that particular receiver. So if it's the escrow company, if it's Placer Title, you call Placer Title. Okay. Hey, I want to verify my wiring instructions. And just cross the board with any wiring instructions you want to do that.
Okay, so I get the wiring instructions from you over the phone, I write them down in my little notebook, and then I go to my bank and say, hey, here are the real wiring instructions. They send it to you, not some fraudster.
Correct, or you can bring us a cashier's check from the bank.
Even easier. But if I'm out of state,
we go old school.
Okay. What's your cashier's check? Anyhow, well, hey, I appreciate the information. Julie Opine with Placer Title and Mark Willie here in Paso.